What is up, champs and champettes? We are back, and we are taking a little bit of a break from the putting tips to talk about the sort of putting controversy that's been going on lately with Jacob, Cupcake, Courtis, and in the past, Nikko and we're going to talk about, is this, are these guys just being jerks, or is there a sports science possibility going on here? I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans right now. I do not think they are doing this on purpose. I do not think they are trying to gain a competitive advantage, and I do not think that they are being jerks on purpose here. I believe it is a case of the yips, and we're going to talk about the sports science of the yips, and we're going to talk about some solutions that might help these two players and possibly yourself, or possibly a friend that you could share this insight with. So when I'm talking about the yips, what I mean, their physical expression is sort of often tremors or spasms, jitters, jerks, and this happens in lots of different sports, not just golf, baseball, archery, darts, lots of different. This shows up in a lot of different ways. So when it comes to Nikko and Cupcake, the thing that they're really yipping on is they're doing this constantly in their setup, and they're sort of just checking the wind just constantly, excessively. And I believe that this is where, this is what's really for them the yippy part of what's going on, why I think that this is not a conscious decision that they're making or a competitive advantage that they're trying to gain, but a sort of mental lapse or a mental breakdown of sorts in that situation. I saw this just showing up on my feed everywhere, and I said, there has to be a sports science explanation for this. I got on the internet, I got on the journals, I got on the egghead type stuff, and I found something. It's a study that was done in Japan on baseball players. What they did was work with mental imagery. They had some players that had never had the yips, some players that had the yips and recovered, and then some players that were currently dealing with the yips. What they did find was that the players that had the yips currently or previously had the yips and recovered from them were much, much better at imagining themselves doing poorly in a situation. Basically imagining themselves screwing up, and they called it negative mental imagery. One thing that's kind of really sad about this group of people that had the yips currently or in the past was that they imagined negative outcomes first and could imagine their negative outcomes much, much stronger than positive outcomes. So you can probably imagine how this can become a vicious cycle pretty quick with this negative imagery going on and no real confidence in your upcoming putt. And you're just going to constantly, reset, check the wind. And I think that's what's going on here. So let's maybe try and have some grace in this situation. And I know that Terry did, and I think most people do, but have some grace with Cupcake and Nikko and this situation they're going through. It's a more of a mental battle, I think, than people realize. So now that we have a decent understanding of why it's probably happening, let's talk about some solutions. So what I'm sort of imagining is these guys working on picturing sort of the ace trace in their putt, getting better at that, really spending some time to develop that technique of visualizing the flight of their putt. Another thing I think could really help both of these guys, and probably you as well, is to use our product, the Champ Cap Solo, which makes you just really hyper focus on center chains where the most situations can go right if you're aiming for that area. So I think that could really help. And I think the third idea would be, especially for these two, is to see a sports psychologist that focuses on visualization and overcoming negative visualization. I know they're out there. I haven't done that research, but I know that they're out there. And as a professional disc golfer, it might be a good idea to look into that. So hopefully this video helped you out. Hopefully this video helps one of your friends out. I think it's some really good insight. I am going to link the study that I referenced here in this video in the description. We'll be back with some putting tips soon. So we will catch you later.